Well, I blew that introduction. So let me tell you about this guy who has been in IT for a bunch of years. But back in the late '60s, in the weird old times, he was in a weird old band, a band that was essentially forgotten until Rhino put out this collection called Nuggets that got this extraordinary critical reaction and revived the interest in psychedelic garage rock, this niche rock genre. And this fella that we're talking to here, Richie Goldklang, was the lead guitarist for a band called the Third Bardo that had one of the big hits on that Nuggets Rhino compilation. So we're going to talk about Bardo. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff with Richard Goldklang. How you doing, Richard? Oh, I need you to unmute. Unmute. I muted you on. Um, can you unmute?
Can you hear me yet?
Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Hey,
About
Rich.
the right volumes, sir?
That's perfect, sir.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm nervous as hell right now. I used to be used to this stuff, but it's been a long time.
Well,
So,
yeah.
aside from that, uh, it's funny we called a garage band, yet our producer is hardly a garage guy. He's one of the most successful producer composers there ever were. He's one of those guys who wrote a song that sold 100 million copies, not us, but prior to us. His name is Teddy Randazzo. He wrote, I think I'm going out of my head, which 900 artists did and so forth. So, but it was very interesting.
Yeah.
At the time I was in the band, I was also writing with a few people. I was doing some studio work, and I knew I had like a limited amount of time. Let's say, give myself 2 to 3 years, or I'd have to go work for a living. It turned out that I ended up with the right thing because, today, because of digital technology, you can't make any money with music. You used to get royalties, not a big amount, but something. It's all gone now.
Well, that's why I think live performance, that was what's so brutal for the past year on musicians because
Yes,
at least you can play in a club, sell a CD, sell a T-shirt, and there you make a little bit of dough, as opposed to hoping that you get 12 million hits on iTunes or
right.
what do they call Apple Music now or Spotify.
I
But
haven't seen a dime from Apple yet. Interesting. Right.
are you? Well,
Oh,
it would be. We got to roll it back. We got to first pull this back. And one of the other reasons that I know you is that you were friends of friends, and that you grew up in Nassau County, Long Island. Are you a Hewlett person? Are you a Woodmere?
I
What
went to Hewlett High School.
went to Hewlett High School? Do you have any memories of Hewlett High? Were you high in Hewlett High?
No, because I graduated in '62, so I didn't get high for a couple of years. But I went to Berklee College of Music, which is a perfect place to.
So you were trained in guitar at Berklee. Do you have? Well, first of
No,
all,
actually, no, actually, I played keyboards and woodwinds. I only picked up a guitar when I was 17
mhm.
because all the typical things like attracting women supposedly or whatever, and kind of self-taught in that while I was formally trained on woodwinds and piano. And so, since jack of all trades, master of none type of person, like a poor man's Al Cooper.
Well, well, when you went to Berkeley, what was the master plan? Did you think you'd be in an orchestra? Did you think you would be, a
Berkeley's unusual, it's jazz oriented. I had teachers who were legends. I had classmates who were legends. What am I doing here? Gary Burton's my classmate. I mean, I'm looking around, and I left after less than a year
oh,
because I wasn't mature enough. Because you think, I guess it'd be like a ball player or anything who thinks they're good in high school, then they go in the major leagues and they realize, wait a minute, I probably was good and looking too much. I just didn't have the maturity yet to roll with it. So it's okay.
so you come out of so without a degree, so because is Berkeley a college? You get a regular degree, or is that
Oh,
after?
yes. At
Yeah,
this point, it's really evolved. It's a small school. Then now, if you look at top music schools in the country, and it's either Berkeley or Juilliard,
right.
it's really gained. The place is huge now. Very unusual. They have recording studios to just go rehearse and play in anytime, day or night.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
if you can, it's a very interesting place now.
So, but let me ask you then, you come out of not finishing college, it's the middle of the 1960s. What do you do with yourself?
Well, I went to Adelphi.
Okay. Uh-huh. And there you went for, did you go more for music or were you now learning
No,
well,
no,
whatever,
I
program?
switched to like, you know, psych, sociology, whatever, and
Yeah.
liberal arts, and kept banging away, sometimes full times during the day, sometimes at night, because I was getting involved in a lot of different ways in the music business.
Hmm.
By the way, it turned out to be very hard work, and it was very hard work. And the business part of it, you know, business can be dubious, but, you know, entertainment business, but really music, you don't know who you're talking to. Got to protect yourself against the publishers, not work with them. It's interesting.
And you knew this even in like the 60s. You knew, we're talking about what, 1965,
Uh,
6-ish
well,
or?
66, 67, or 68, that was the era of the band. But as I said, I was doing many other things.
So how did that particular, because again, you were a woodwinds person. I mean, you picked up the guitar to run Press Girls, but how did it suddenly this band, the third Bardo, coalesce?
I was introduced to a singer whose original name was Jeff Neufeld. We're not alike at all, but he's an extremely talented singer. He could channel, you know, Jim Morrison or Rolling Stones, running a great voice. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite musically trained, or he wasn't willing or able to work with other people.
Hmm.
He kind of started and stopped when he felt like it, but there's almost like a satire on what lead singers are about.
So let me ask you then, from the time that you started rehearsing together and putting the
Yeah.
band together to the point where you put out the EP, was it called an EP back then, or what was it even called, or just singles?
Well, an EP Evolved was originally a single we were on Roulette Records, which is a whole different story
Oh well,
because
yeah,
they
roulette
made a
screwed
movie
everybody.
about Morris Levy. You know, of
Yeah.
all the, we almost had our choice of record labels. We were different enough. However, our manager picked Roulette of all
Yeah.
labels.
Whoops.
It's,
Well,
it
not
wasn't
no
really a
rock
record
and roll.
label, it was a money laundering.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying it was
Interesting.
mafia or what, or Jewish mafia was roulette, right, or something like that. They were.
You know, Morris Levy had an identical twin brother who owned Birdland. And they meant to get Morris Levy, but they shot his brother accidentally. Very interesting stuff.
Wow. But
It's like
you
it's like a Jimmy Breslin
yeah.
book.
But you guys weren't involved in that. You just went in, you recorded a couple of songs for Roulette,
Yeah,
among them 5 years
five.
ahead of my
Yes,
time. Right.
right.
Now, were you involved in the writing of that song, which became the closest thing you guys to is a cult hit, certainly.
Yes.
Um, did they come to you, the lead singer, and with that song, you added guitar, or were you part of the process of writing the song, or what?
That particular song, I wrote two of the five that we recorded, but not 5 years ahead of my time. That was written with Teddy Randazzo and someone whose name I'll remember if I wasn't getting old and have trouble recalling. But his name will come to me when it doesn't matter anymore. He was pretty well known in the field as a writer and a performer, and kind of had a good feel of that. And the what I'm doing on guitar that supposedly became known, I that was me, you know, improvising.
Yeah.
People think that I went to India or something. Actually, you'll get a kick out of it. So you listen to the guitar break, it's a Don Alone.
No!
Yeah,
You know, Rabbi Saul was originally supposed to do this interview. He would have loved that.
yeah,
But because
I
of the
know. He
weekend,
would have
what
liked
happened
it.
with my dad,
I'm
I
not
couldn't.
making up.
Yeah,
That's where I
yeah.
got the intervals and everything straight
But
out of that song.
I gotta listen to that
It's
song.
it's
Wow.
very catchy. Like you, I was asked to leave Hebrew school.
Wow. Oh, now I've got to hear it. By the way, the song is 5 years ahead of my time. Don't go listen to it right this second, folks, because we're in the middle of the interview with a guy who co-wrote, well, who wrote the guitar part for that song. And wrote what songs did you write for the Bardo?
I co-wrote Dawn of Tomorrow. I co-wrote I Can Understand Your Problem, and I can't remember the name of the other one right now. I
So
don't try to remember, otherwise I'd be sitting here going humming them like a
yeah.
Becky Gleason or something.
So let me ask you. You do this. Obviously the lead singer is problematic, but you put out this music from Roulette, and then
We
like
were signed with William Morris. We did quite a few gigs, concerts, and we were pretty successful. I knew internally this wasn't going to happen because I could see the makeup of the band as far as how cohesive we could be,
mm.
and was
But there's no
disappointed.
question of keeping the band together, but losing the difficult lead singer and bringing, because some bands have done that,
Uh,
obviously.
I looking realistically, whether I got along with him or not, and whether he had behavioral problems,
Right.
it was him and me, and the other people would have been interchangeable, except for the degree there's a truth of so-called attractiveness or look of a group. And so the others, while they may not have been the most talented, really added to the kind of
The
feeling of
feeling,
the group.
yeah. But what I'm saying is like
Frankly, we were
when
better looking than the Blues Project, not as talented, but better looking, except for me.
back in the, you could have been the Monkees. You could have had your own TV show.
Uh,
As hey, we're third Bardo. People say we write a don't but the thing is, you guys then just fractured. It was inevitable.
well, actually, what happened was someone was a good friend of mine who played rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
Apparently, decided with some influence with someone else in the band. I was drug free because drugs and I don't get along. I was more like Peter Sellers' character in Alice B. Toklas, like I'm so hip at Hoyts, it just didn't work for me. So spit off with that. It
Good.
became catatonic from it. However, this guy started talking about his needles. And then one day he came and he says he has hepatitis. And this is the middle of a 1 month engagement at a place called Arthur, which was the ultimate club in the 60s. It's kind of the precursor to Studio 54. Not as crazy, but that fractured us actually at that point
The
because we weren't
drug use.
banned anymore.
What
I
did
mean,
you
we
do?
worked very hard to look natural up there, and he's gone, and then
Yeah.
some organ player just doing like regular top 40 music. It was all gone.
And so you come out of that, and then you're disgusted with the music business. You're obviously disappointed and like probably cynical about being in a band. Is that when you said, "The hell with this, I'm going to just learn computers"?
No, because I was still very happy. I enjoyed doing studio work. Studio work means you're playing
Mm-hmm.
on other people's albums or songs. And I got to really
Well,
fill
so
in with some
what
very
albums were you
interesting
on?
people. Hmm?
What you mentioned that there were famous people going to Berklee when you were there. What albums did you play on by other people?
I have to be careful here,
Why?
non-disclosure agreements. Uh, the one successful group on Roulette was Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yes.
None
Money,
of them
money.
could, none of them could really sing or play. Put it that
Okay,
way.
well, yeah.
They
And
needed a little help in there.
so
Um,
when we hear guitar on some of their hit, like are you on Moni Moni? Or you're
no,
not allowed to? No.
no, but that was the case. So the later ones, the last couple, those slightly psychedelic.
You're the lead
Crystal
guitar.
Persuasion. There was another one. The last two songs got a little bit more quote unquote forced hip, you know.
But you
Uh,
you are uncredited, but you were on
well, as
those,
a studio musician, I wouldn't be credited, so that was okay.
right?
Because
So
with Morris Levy, I didn't get paid. We knew that.
anything with
That
roulette.
doesn't matter. It's
You
hard
couldn't play on
business.
other labels. You couldn't be loaned
Hmm?
out to Columbia or to.
No, I did studio stuff for other groups. It's just, I wasn't one of them. In other words, if you ever watch Letterman, you'd see for 30 years a guy with blonde hair playing the bass. He's the most, everybody
Willie.
wants him.
Yeah.
Willie, everybody wants Willie. They want a bass player, we got to get Will. That's true for every instrument. The ultimate studio guy who makes a fortune. I was more like a pinch hitter, which was fine.
Fine.
And writing and producing, is frustrating because it's no different than writing and produce, being a playwright. You know, what's the real chance? Even if you
Yeah.
open in New Haven or whatever,
Yeah.
or open
Nobody
off.
opens New Haven. Nobody opens anywhere right now, but yeah, New Haven,
No,
that's
yeah, you
years
know,
ago.
the whole idea of that. There were some fun things, but you didn't get paid for them. WMCA Good Guy shows. Every weekend you play a couple of them, you know, with the
Oh,
DJs hosting. And so you got to sit around the DJs and play. That's when I backed up a lot of people because no one came with the band, they came alone. And it was
so
usually fun to work with them.
first of all, are there any tapes of these extant? Do you think maybe? Does anybody have? Do you have recordings of when you guys were backing up someone on the Good Guys shows on
No,
MCA?
it was just me because I'm the one who could do it. The whole band wasn't capable. You know, certain type of person can go sit in. That's being called, you know, like a musician who's flexible
So whom did
and
you back
understand music. It's just a bunch of permutations of chords when it comes to pop music.
up? But like, can you remember one or two or three of the people that were on as a guest on the Good Guys, and you were on guitar or keyboard or whatever,
Oh,
backing them up?
besides our group, Leslie Gore,
Really,
um,
or okay.
a guy did his R&B hit "You Don't Know Like I Know," which is a big hit. We can keep going. Neil Diamond.
Wow.
No, but see, Neil Diamond, wow. See, that's a bad memory, but we were
Well,
both
why is it
young.
a bad memory?
We were in our 20s. Oh, with Neil Diamond, they usually say thank you or whatever. He just walked away. He might have been shy, but I didn't
Oh,
appreciate it at the
okay. Yeah.
time.
It would have been nice if he said, thanks so much.
We also got along with the disc jockeys fine because like people like Dan Daniel always had a nice bunch of pills on him to give out. And then
But you
even
weren't
better,
taking that.
even better that Jack Spector took us to Nathan's in Coney Island.
That's all
But
right.
Harry Harrison cut us off after our first song, which wasn't 5 years. It was an intro song, you know, something just to get him going. And then he cut us off. And I went up to Harry Harrison and told him to do something possible to himself. And I found out I had to write an apology to him.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway,
yeah.
after all these Good Guy shows, what happened was only then we find out we do this and they would play our record. It turned out none of these disc jockeys could choose their own stuff. They had one program director. So it was all for naught. The only person who played our song in New York was Murray the K because
Murray
he
the
was with
K.
WORFM and he could choose what he had.
What ORFM? Interesting. ORFM was on the FM band back
He
in
was
the
one of the first, you know, that was
yeah.
FM was like new then.
Right, yeah. Freeform. Well, or tried to
And
be.
then
But I realized I was a little confused because it sounded like the MCA Good Guys period. You were already post Bardo band. I thought you were just playing as yourself.
no,
Uh,
the Good
oh,
Guys was our band promoting ourselves. That was during
oh,
the period. It was a combination of well-known groups and startup groups like us. One more semi-funny story. I'm done.
please.
The big deal is when I in the business, you meet all these people and you meet female stars. So I met Leslie Gore and we go out for a quote unquote date. I had no idea that she's gay. She was
Oh,
very open about
she
it. It's
may
just
not have
no one
known
cared.
back then that she was gay.
So we were friends. I thought it was just funny. Of all the things, I finally get to date a female celebrity.
And she turns out to, yeah,
It
you were
was
her
okay.
favorite
I
that
just thought it
night.
was funny. It was like, you know, how my luck runs.
Yeah, just and then you dated Ellen DeGeneres for a period of no.
No, yeah, that would have been fun.
Oh man! So after the band broke up, you were still doing some studio stuff, but
I was writing. I was writing. I was producing, co-managing.
ooh,
But it reached the point. All the stuff is fine, but what about steady income? I was now engaged,
uh,
and I had to
to,
make a big decision.
to your
Well,
current, to your bashert, to the person that you're still.
we made it 11 years and had two
Oh,
children.
that 11. Okay, that was it. Yeah, all right, all right. So you
My
needed
daughters aren't exactly middle aged anymore. They're 50, but they don't need workers yet. Okay,
all right, but
so
no. So you decided to study the nascent world of computing.
well, this is why. Let me just quote: being the family disappointment is a difficult job, but someone's got to step up and take one for the team. Now, my family, all of them just seemed to like excel at whatever they did, not just, do well. No, my brother spent 25 years in the Justice Department, doing things like establishing diplomatic relations with China, taking care of the hostage crisis. He's a big Justice Department guy. And I know he knew because, and then it goes on and on in my family, both that and speaking of cousins, because anyway, so computers were new. And what was
we lost you for just a moment. You froze.
good for 6 months, I was one eye blind. And so being one eye among the blind, I was able to excel at computers because most people went into it, had no idea. The logic to me, after knowing music theory wise, you could kind of jump to it. And I became pretty good at it pretty quickly. So after only 6 months experience, I became management at Canada Dry Corporation.
Yeah.
After 6 years, I kind of like, I was very interesting. From there, I jumped to a relatively new consulting firm and property management.
Oh, okay.
Was trying to be my specialty. We took one client to chased like my system so much, they gave us 140 real estate companies, bang, and we became quite, we know about the overhead.
Right. Well, by the way, I think we were first met or put together. You put together one of my first computers years and years ago. I think you came by and you put one component with this and a big old hard drive and
whatever they had at the time.
Yeah.
That was funny because now I remember about property management. Rodlett's on 1600 Stewart Avenue, and so maybe that's where it all tied in.
That's where it all tied in.
So I was doing that thing, and originally I knew Bruce Rodletts a little, and then
and then Scott, his brother, and who was at my best friend at the time, and we've reconnected. So that's kind of wow. That's how it sort of. And they hooked me up because I needed a computer, and they said they recommended you as being an IT person. You gave me a very good machine. Thank you.
What's funny is the word IT just came into being lately. I first saw it, and it's like an IT consultant. Does that mean? I think of it from the Addams Family or something. One of those shows.
Either that or Clara Bow. You have to be silent. Let me ask. Hey, it occurs to me, maybe you're a person to ask. Somewhere in your interstices of your interstices, do you have a floppy reader machine for either the real floppies or like the 5 1/4 inch or the 3 3/4 inch floppy?
Are you in a situation where you needed to get some information off of it?
Well, I would love. There are discs I have with reviews and things that I've written that I would kind of like to.
And they're on, and they're currently on floppy disks.
Yeah.
So we'll find one.
I thought it was.
I'm sure we can find one.
To go to NASA to get. You can take Super 8 films very easily, or Betamax.
We'll take it and transfer it to any number of hard drives now, or little even thumb drives which hold more than a whole room full of disk drives from the old days.
But
evolution.
I thought it was, I called a couple, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I found these things. I'm like, it'd be really cool to get these things back. I wrote these things 30, 35 years ago. I thought I was saving them for posterity, and now there's no machine that can read them.
Oh, I'm sure we can get a driver that'll plug into a laptop or a PC, and we'll be able to copy it. No problem.
That would be amazing. I mean, we're not going to do this on, we're on a program right now. It's called Dave's Gone By. I'm Dave Lefkowitz.
Yeah, I noticed.
I'm
trying to see how goofy I look. Let me see.
You look well. And I
can't help that.
I have to request your permission. I'm going to do this. I want to share screen for a moment, if you will allow me, to explain the reason that you were not on the program 2 months ago, when we first had you booked. And you're like,
well, my teeth.
I'm going to
we'll see all these.
Look at those choppers.
Yeah.
But you wanted to prove to me the reason that you weren't just begging off the show, that you weren't canceling for some minor reason. you sent me a photo
Oh,
of
yeah,
yourself, like I
yes.
guess a day or two after the procedure.
It was frightening. For
Do
practical purpose, you're subjected to incredible abuse. They banging around, even get it's worse than a bad car accident because you do get a concussion from it because it really.
well, do you mind if I share the photo? Because I can share.
No, I think it's great. I like it.
It's hysterical. Folks, if you're just having your breakfast, look at this attractive middle-aged gentleman, Richard Goldklang, on your screen. I'm going to share the screen and kind of let's see. I can get. Let's see. I'll share the
Middle age.
desktop. Just give me a moment. Will it do it? Okay, I'm now screen sharing. You're seeing this. I need to show you. This is what Richie, the picture that he sent me to explain why he could not appear on Dave's Gone By that week because he was having dental surgery.
There he is.
Can you
I
see
love
that? Oh my Lord.
You got a lucky punch in, that's all. I could have been a contender. Yeah.
You're punched by Mike Tyson in one eye and Muhammad Ali in the other.
Yes.
Look at that. I mean, you also didn't comb. If you comb your hair, even maybe, but the whole aesthetic of this is magnificent. I looked yesterday. I looked at the face of my dead father yesterday
Yes.
morning, and he looked better than.
Yeah,
He looked much better than this. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen! Wow, how long did it take you to go from looking like that into basic? A little bruised normalcy.
A couple of weeks. Wasn't quick. It was gradual.
Yeah.
It couldn't, it wasn't sudden. It was very slow.
Now I'm going to allow in my cousin to the room because I've asked some family if they can to call in on this weird episode. So if Dave's Gone By, considering what's been going on, I'm going to leave this up while I let him in and see if he sees it. Cousin Adam? Oh, you're in a car? Where are you at? Or I mean, he's. Where are you? Oh, you need to unmute yourself. Please unmute. Do I have to unmute? Yeah. There we go. Please unmute. Oh, come on and come back. We're talking, by the way. This is the 797th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and with Richard Goldklang. We'll be playing the Today Yesterday quiz with him and my
hello.
Adam, hello?
Hello.
Adam, first of all, can you see this magnificent work of art we have posted here?
I see it. I just wasn't sure if it was you after a bender.
That was our guest having post-dental surgery. This is wow. I love that picture more. I'm no offense, Richie. It's just I find it so fun. We're talking, by the way, Adam, with Richard Goldklang, a longtime friend and acquaintance, was in a rock band called the Third Bardo back in the 1960s. He's been an IT guy for many years, and you have now been an IT guy for many years as well.
Yeah, indeed.
And Adam was at my dad's funeral yesterday, and Adam's a cool friend of the family. He's been on the show. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see you guys, and because people are trying to have lunch. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. There we go. So welcome, Adam. Why are you in a car?
Because it's the one place where I could find quiet.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So,
do I need my mask on? Do I have to look like a train robber to be on this, or am I good?
Actually, you're much more handsome with a mask on, so I would keep it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It bothers me because you're 50 years old and your hair looks incredible. I don't know how I was bald by the time I was 50, and yet look at you. You're like Hair Club for Men after. It's amazing.
Shh, not supposed to tell.
So we're getting. Let me talk a little bit more. Don't go away, Adam. But I want to talk a little bit more to our guest in the neighborhood, Richard Goldklang, who is kind of finishing up the how he got from being a rock guitarist to essentially doing IT, and then you were doing the real estate. What was it? The property management for a bunch of years. And what have you been doing like the past 10 years? I guess you're retired-ish, or what's been going on? Richie, can you hear?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me. I was just sitting here enjoying the show. The
Okay.
property management. And I
Wait,
wrote, I designed a lot of systems, but the property management turned out that it was a quote unquote hit record when Chase Manhattan Bank backed us and gave them all their clients, including Fred Trump.
do you have any Trump stories?
And I don't want to waste your time. Just
Whoa.
simply, as usual, you didn't pay. Like, and they said, "How come we didn't get rent bills this month?" I said, "You didn't pay us for 2 months." Like that'd be awful. We had a lot of business, but the overhead was tremendous. In those days, you couldn't have a little laptop to do it from. You can now. You had to have a multi-million-dollar computer with a raised floor, and evolution brought us to smaller and smaller computers. It was very expensive. When cash flow became a thing, 100 employees, I had to give up getting paid some weeks just to make it through. That's how business is when you do
Well, but
that.
you're okay. You're comfortable now. Or are you still working? Do you still put?
Nah,
What are you doing?
I'm kind of retired.
Cool. And you're living reasonably well. At least you have the money to pay a dentist, probably thousands of dollars to
Yeah, I was doing reasonably well. Now I have teeth, but I'm not doing reasonably well yet. I have a choice. I
Oh,
could have gotten a nice SUV instead of my teeth. I didn't want an SUV anyway.
so are you remarried? Do you have kids? What's your basic life situation, Richie?
Okay, I have 2 grown daughters and 4 grandchildren.
Mom.
Each daughter has a boy and a girl, so that kind of fits. And then my first wife, married 11 years, divorced 11 years, remarried. Unfortunately, for a few years now, my wife is in an assisted living facility.
Oh, okay.
Talking about, stuff in life. And by the way, let's do this quickly. By unfortunate coincidence, just about 10 days ago, my nephew, that'd be my sister's son. It's bad when you lose your son, then you lose your. And so I lost overnight. No one knows why yet. I lost a nephew. I feel terrible for my sister. It's supposed
It
to be
wasn't
the
a
other
COVID
way.
thing. It was just a sudden weird nothing.
Very sudden,
Yeah.
not a long illness, which I went through with both parents, like most of the students, never sudden. As a matter of fact, the hydrocephalus with my mother, very similar, years and years.
Oh,
So,
I did. So, did she
you-
have? What did it do to her? Because I know what it did to my dad, along with all the other
she
things.
was like 80 years old. The neurologist discovered it. It was really too late to really do much. There was definite dementia, and kind of decided, even with the doctor feeling, even though that's what it is, they don't know if it's just that, and really if anything could have been done about it. She was already in pretty bad shape. It wasn't like if you put a shunt and bang, everything get okay. It wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Can I
Sorry
ask you
about that.
one more question about? Here he is. Okay, well, we have our other guest coming in. I've got one more question though for Richie Goldklang before, or as we bring in our third guest to play the Today Yesterday quiz. Hello, David Sheward, by the way. Oh, and remember, you have to unmute yourself because I reset the thing as everybody comes in mute. So please unmute. And hello, David Sheward.
I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah, it's a new thing. This way people come in quietly and they don't distract from my genius when I hear them logging on.
So we don't come and say, "Hi, how are you?"
You can distract from your genius.
Joyce is saying nobody can distract from my genius. She's being nice to me because I'm a half orphan now.
Oh.
God. Anyway, David Sheward, and let me introduce folks before David Sheward is the former president of the Drama Desk. He is also a blogger. He is also the author of a biography of George C. Scott, and he writes for culturalweekly.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog is The David Desk. My cousin Adam Glass is an IT person, and I know you've been sitting there quietly. And then Richard Goldklang, former band member, longtime IT person. I want to ask you, do you look back, like from the early and mid-1960s when you were a musician and in these bands, and you said that you didn't blow your mind out with drugs or anything, that you weren't into that, but who you are now, do you look back as yourself then as a completely other person? or are you still you and sometimes you feel like you could sit down with like the guys and just
Well,
jam?
I was very fortunate that I lived in near Huntington Bay, near the harbor. And there was a place called Chesterfield's, a well-known blues bar in Huntington Village. And every Sunday night, I played in a blues band, which also had guests there. I did that for like 8 years, and I look forward to every Sunday. And it made me much better. I played keyboard mainly, and I was playing with excellent musicians, and I loved it. So,
And did that stopped with COVID, or it stopped a while before?
no, this is a while back. This was, let's say, 1990s to the early part of the 2000s.
Well, do you?
Everything stopped with COVID now.
Well, do you play music? Do you rehearse? Do you go into the basement and just pick up the keyboard or the guitar, or what did you say? Flute? Well,
I picked up the guitar. Frankly, what happened during COVID, you say, boy, I have the chance since I can't go out and I'm quarantining myself. But I ended up doing nothing, absolutely nothing instead. I think what I just trying to do is hunker down and not go nuts. And it felt like the less I did, the more comfortable I got. I mean, that's not good. I could have done something, but I just wanted to get through it. And
so
it's only a week now I've been out, finally got my shots, and then felt it's okay to go out. And it's very rough. You read about people getting out of prison, they can't handle the life outside, and it really felt kind of strange
well,
at first.
did you go to a restaurant? Did you go shopping? I mean, when you said out, what did you do? And what will you do this week?
This week I simply visited one or two people and did a little shopping, which wasn't comfortable because I finally got it down to every supply I could think of, even liquor, all these different services that deliver. Everything was being delivered. I didn't have to move. It was
So you're
great.
still in that coming out period of like being
Emotionally, yeah.
emotionally incarcerated. Wow. Well, hopefully this show will bring, this show brings everybody out of their shells. This show is like, if people are feeling mentally and emotionally imprisoned, this is the show that sets them free and makes them mass murderers. So I'm very
I used to be comfortable on radio or TV doing a few different things, but this time I feel like I'm back to when I was an introvert at 20 years old.
You're fine. You it's been great, and now you get to be part of this group.
I'm so over my head coming up.
Oh no! We'll see. We'll see. First of all, I will tell Adam and I will tell you, Richie, that you're not going to beat David. David is the king of today. Okay.
Exactly.
David. This is David. Yeah. David is the king of today, yesterday quiz, but we don't expect you to. If you get one question, if you get a point or two or three, that's amazing.
And it's just for fun.
There's no prizes. There ain't no nothing. It's just all in hopefully good fun. Oh, and I want to make not apologies, but I want to let everybody know. Usually, Mr. Hogan Blake is our second contestant. Leslie cannot make it today. Not sure if she'll make it next week either, but we wish her our best.
It's okay. I just switched from coffee, so I'm doing fine now.
You got your coffee. I got my rules. But Adam, and also I'll hang with you a little while after the quiz to talk more about my dad a little bit. But let me give you the today, yesterday quiz rules. So here's the deal.
There are rules?
Barely. I remake them every week. It's to my own taste.
So this week's rules, yes, go ahead.
And it's a simple game because it's trivia questions. We're going to ask 9 trivia questions, and there's a tiebreaker if we need it. And we do the tiebreaker even if we don't need it. But there's 9 questions. Each of you gets 2 questions. Sorry.
3.
See, I've already forgotten. 3 questions, 3 people, 9. And we go in rounds. If you get the question correct, it's 2 points. If you get the question incorrect, there's no penalty, but one of the other people gets to steal. Okay, and they can get the 2 points instead. The other thing that you ought to know is that we've gone back to our regular, last week we did a little differently, but this time we're back to the main theme of the quiz, which is that today is May 8th. Every one of these history questions has to do with something that happened on May 8th in world history. Could have been 500 years ago, 100 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right. Last week it was just about the month of May, anything that happened, or the word May.
I thought that worked out pretty well, actually. heard this.
I just thought there was one thing that was about the month of about May that was pretty interesting, was that in Chicago, when Anne Reinking has the line about she's shooting the boy as Roxy Hart, and she's shooting her boyfriend for cheating on her. And if you listen to the original cast recording, it sounds like nobody walks out on May.
Yes,
I thought,
I remember that. And I'm like, who's May?
Who's May? Nobody named May in this show. And she was like, her diction was not so great, and she was saying May instead of me.
And Leslie actually pointed out that I kind of goofed up on one of the questions because one of the answers was Swedish actress Mai Britt. And she said, well, it's spelled May, but it's actually pronounced May. She was right. She was right. I give that one to her. But here's the deal.
Is she protesting?
Yeah, maybe that's why she's not on the show this week. She's protesting.
She's
right. So here's the deal. I'm going to ask Richie, if you don't mind being the special invited guest, could you kindly pick a number from 1 to 6 and tell me what it is?
5.
Okay. R is 5. And then, Adam, since you're my other special guest, can you pick another number between 1 and 6 that is not 5?
3 is nice.
3 is nice.
3 is nice.
And then, David Sheward, since you are our regular, your number?
2.
2. David. I'm since this, in honor of my father, I'm not going to make a joke about making number 2. Although he would enjoy it if I did.
Mr. Peabody.
So here we have Richard with 5, Adam with 3, David with 2. We're going to roll a die digitally. And wouldn't you know, guess what? It came up number 2.
Oh.
So David, you get to flush this. Do you want to go first, second, or third?
This is weird. Okay. I'll go third.
David will go third. Ooh. I'm going to roll the die again. And it comes up number 1, which is closer to Adam. So Adam, you get to choose. Do you want to go second or first or second?
I'll go second, actually.
Adam will go second. So Richie, you are the guinea pig. You get to go first. It just means that this is the order of the questions that they go in, because the questions are pre-written and they tend to go chronologically. So you'll get the earliest year and so forth. Are you all ready, guys?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and roll.
We will begin the game. This question is for you, Richard Goldklang, for 2 points. The year, and you remember it well, 1541. On this date, remember it's all May 8th, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto became the first European to reach this body of water, which spans from northern Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. What's that water?
Mississippi.
Can you clarify? Can you expand on that answer?
Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. It's spanned on the Mississippi River. And
is that your final answer?
yes, it is.
Richie got the Mississippi. Richard gets himself 2 points. Richie, yes, that is the correct answer. Look at this on the board immediately. Because you said Mississippi, and I kind of wanted Mississippi River in there. But you have to play the hand or delta.
Oh, that's bad.
Thank you.
Clearly, I should have taken the first question.
I didn't
Okay, go ahead.
What, Dave?
Say it again.
No, I said you have to play the hand or delta because it was a Mississippi question.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Operation.
All right, we get to our question number 2, which will go directly to Adam. So, Adam, if you get this question right, you get 2 points. If you get it wrong, someone else gets a chance, excuse me, to steal. Are you ready, Adam?
Well, I just means that the other 2 should pay more attention because the odds of me getting one of these right is very small. Go ahead.
Well, here we go. 1823 was the
Nice year.
Yeah, good year. Clary, the Maid of Milan, a now forgotten operetta by John Howard Payne and Henry Bishop, opens in London. Making it a hit is one song that made Payne's name, and a song that briefly turns up in The Wizard of Oz and The King and I. Name that tune whose second stanza features the lyric, "The birds singing gaily that came at my call and gave me the peace of mind dearer than all."
It's beautiful, honey.
A lot of clues, a lot of
Did you make
clues.
that up?
Oh, yeah, I wrote the song, I admit it.
Oh, nice.
That's why you have no hair.
Well,
Actually,
say he'll get the question.
Say
So
it again. Say it again.
I'll read the question
No.
again, Adam. So it was
Eh,
1823, composed on this date, May, or no, the operetta that this song was in, opened on this date. Clary, the Maid of Milan. I know you
Mhm.
know it well. Forgotten operetta by John Howard Payne and Henry Bishop, open in London tonight. Making it a hit is one song that made John Howard Payne's name. It briefly turns up in both The Wizard of Oz and The King and I. Name that tune whose second stanza features the lyric, "The birds singing gaily that came at my call and gave me the peace of mind dearer than all."
And I don't know because I can hear it. I don't know the name of it.
Okay, do you want to take a guess? Even if you get it, you know.
No, because my sarcasm goes to we represent the Lollipop Guild. It's really not gonna be it. So I'm gonna stop there. You know.
Well, I guess then, even though Adam, you are my munchkin, that is.
Ah,
Yeah.
Mr.
oh,
Sorry.
Aren't you glad you tornado for this,
oh,
Richard?
the
So
wizard.
I'm going to roll the die again, and the die comes up the number 6, which is closest to Richard.
closest to 5.
So, Richard, do you want to try and steal this question for 2 more points?
If I only had a brain.
Is that your? Are you asking me, or is that your actual answer?
Well, I did have a brain, but I feel it kind of, I'm 76, so, I think that'll be my final answer. Because I have no idea.
Well, I'm afraid those 76 trombones are playing taps for you. That is not the correct answer. So,
Oh.
David Sheward, you have the opportunity still to steal this question.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the title is the song goes, "Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home."
Like home.
So I think the title is "Home Sweet Home."
But is that your final answer?
Yes, "Home Sweet Home."
And this is why David Sheward is the man to beat, because he is absolutely correct that a snatch of that song turns up in both Wizard of Oz and The King and I, and of course it's "Home Sweet Home." That you're right.
I remember it in The King and I, but I don't remember it in The Wizard of Oz.
I guess when she wants to go back home, or she's clicking her
I
heels,
guess
or
they play it in the background at some point, but
the
It
flying
was
monkeys have a
background
connect with their
music.
butts, something like that.
But I do remember in The King and I,
Yeah.
Anna wants the king to build her a house. And he says, no, you shall live in palace. And she teaches the royal children to sing "Home Sweet Home" over and over and over again. And the king says, "What is this song, Home Sweet House? Stop singing."
Yul Brynner turned very scarily into Arnold Schwarzenegger there. That is something you should know. Anywho, it is possible. No, I can't do it now. So, anyway, by the way, so we've got Richie on the board with 2, David Sheward on the board with 2. Coming to our third question, which now goes directly to David Sheward. So David Sheward can build on his lead if you answer this question correctly, David.
All right.
1877 is the year.
Yeah.
Held today at Gilmore Gardens, Gilmore Garden, a precursor to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, okay.
The first Westminster Kennel Club dog show.
Oh.
Which of these is not true about our canine friends? Is it multiple choice? David Love. This is all guesswork.
Go ahead.
A. Dogs with erect ears hear better than dogs with droopy ears. B. All dogs have 4 eyelids in each eye. C. All puppies are born blind and deaf. Or D. No 2 dogs have the same nose print.
All right.
Which of these is not true? Yeah.
I think that, that's interesting. I know that I think dogs and cats are born blind, which I learned from that song in Cats, Are you blind when you're born? do you hate the show? And
Yeah, everybody does hate cats, but there, yeah, okay.
stop singing this song.
Restaurant
Okay.
I'm
Joe
sorry,
Allen's restaurant closed.
Joe Allen. Wow, Joe Allen. You know Joe Allen
What?
closed. Joe Allen's restaurant closed.
Really?
Joe Allen gone. Joe Allen's closed. 326 West 46th Street. A theater district restaurant known as the Broadway Meeting Place for actors. Blah 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 is closed.
Oh, forever?
I think it says.
Because didn't he die like a month ago or something like that? Or somebody in like a big theater restaurant guy did, and maybe that.
I have to. That's terrible.
Well, yeah.
I pass by it. I pass by it often, actually.
Anybody ever eat? I think I ate there once a million
So
years ago.
often.
Oh, really? Really? Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
would eat and have drinks there. That's terrible.
It says it's well. They don't say that. They say we hate to say it,
Yeah.
but we're going to take a little hiatus.
Oh,
And then
Wait.
it said with COVID on the rise, and then this was in
Wait,
winter.
how long ago was that?
This was from winter. It said
Oh.
with COVID on the rise
Oh.
to New York City winter, we've decided to hibernate. But that's old. And
That
then
was
it
old,
says,
and now it's official that they're.
that's what someone put on Facebook.
Wow.
So it's got
Oh, well.
it's Facebook, right?
well, let's. Okay. Well, anyway,
With Chipotle now.
that gave me time to think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
David, you don't need time to think. You know.
Yeah.
the
Of all the
answer.
people that give extra
It's a
time.
guess. It's a guess. This is a guess.
Well, I'll read the choices again.
Okay. It's what's not true.
Yeah. What's not about dogs? Because this
Okay,
was
about
the
dogs.
dogs. A.
Dog.
Or I like to say dogs. Dogs with erect ears hear better than dogs with droopy ears. No jokes. All dogs have 4 eyelids in each eye. C. All puppies are born blind and deaf. Excuse me. Or D. No 2 dogs have the same nose print.
I think it's true that no 2 dogs have the same nose print. It might be that you're pulling a fast one on us when you say that all puppies are born blind and deaf, because maybe they're born blind but not deaf.
Yeah.
So that may be the trick. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to say the one about puppies being born blind and deaf
Is not true.
is not true. It's something like they're blind but not deaf.
What? What? Can't hear you. Oh, now I hear you, and your answer is wrong. I'm sorry, David Sheward. That is not the correct answer.
I outsmart you. Okay.
I outsmarted Dave. So let's do a die roll, which came up number 3, which means Adam Glass, my cousin, you get to steal this question. Do you need to hear the remaining clues again?
I do not. I was going to go for the 4 eyelids as being false.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Is that your final?
Yeah, that is my final answer. The 4 eyelids deal. Yeah.
Well, Buggy put a lid on it. You get those 2 points. We have a 3-way tie game.
Thank you very much.
All dogs have 3 eyelids, not 4.
Oh,
In
I
each
knew
eye.
it's something like that. You're going to sneak that in there.
But this makes me happy because now we literally, each of you has 2 points going into round 3. What a game! Ooh! Dave's got by with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, and we are being joined by Adam Glass, my cousin, and Adam, the IT. Just tell people a little bit. I say you're in IT. What the hell do you actually do?
Shh, we don't tell. So, I work in IT security, access control, and things. Basically, I work in systems to make buildings safer. So everything that has to do with access control, fire alarm systems, burglar alarm systems, video systems, the things that let you get into doors and out of them, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Oh.
That's a great
We program all those systems and so on.
We could have used you on January 6th.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
Yeah, that you put in the pitch for the contract, and so we're also talking with David Sheward, who is a writer and blogger. His blog is The David Desk, and he writes theater reviews and cultural stuff for TheaterLife.com and CulturalWeekly.com. And we are talking also with Richard Goldklang, still a musician, but retired IT person himself. And we're playing the Today, Yesterday theater quiz. All these events that we're writing about, or that we're quizzing about, happen on May 8th. In history. So we begin. I'm sorry?
It's not a theater quiz because all the questions aren't theater related.
No, did I say theater? I'm sorry.
You did. You said theater quiz.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's a history quiz of things that happened on May 8th. No. It could be anything. As a matter of fact, here we go. Richard, you get this next question directly, and it is another multiple choice. The year was 1886. Sold today at Jacob's Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta, the first glass of Coca-Cola, which had both cocaine and caffeine. Which of these is true about Coke? Of these multiple choice. A, the company chose a red logo only because it helped them save money on taxes. B, in 2006, 3 Coke employees tried to open the vault with a secret formula, but they were arrested before they even made it to the room.
And Mr. Krabs got them.
C, New Coke was brought back briefly in 2008 owing to the popularity of Mad Men. Or D, St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico once banned Coca-Cola for 5 years because young people would drink it before services just so they could come in and burp to distract everybody. One of these is true.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can hear the burping in the background.
That her, or is it a sound effect?
Man.
Did you drink a lot of Coke just before the broadcast?
No, I tried recording my dad's death rattle. I missed it, but I got some.
Oh my God.
David.
I don't know.
Gallows humor.
Yes, absolutely. I'll read the choices again, Richie. This is your
Did you
question.
say Madam Zucker?
What? No,
I said gallows humor.
gallows humor.
Oh, I thought.
So here's the deal. Which of these is true about Coca-Cola, which, by the way, the first glass today was given out at a drugstore in 1886? Is it A, the company chose a red logo only because it helped save them money on taxes? B, in 2006, 3 Coke employees tried to open the vault with the secret formula, but they were arrested before they even made it into the room? C, New Coke was brought back briefly in 2008 owing to the popularity of Mad Men? Or D, St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico once banned Coca-Cola for 5 years because young people would drink it before services just so they could come in and burp to distract everyone?
C.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
C. New
C.
Coke.
And is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid you don't see, because that is not the correct answer. That is not a fact. That is not a true thing. I'll tell you, the explanations of all these after someone gets the question. I'm going to roll the die. The die comes up number 2, which means that the question goes directly to David Sheward.
Okay, so I got to guess which of these is true,
Right.
as opposed to the other one, which one was false.
So one of these is true.
True. Okay, so it's not the thing about 2008 and New Coke and Mad Men. So it's either the burping or the SpongeBob SquarePants plot about getting the secret formula.
Right.
And what was the other one?
The company chose a red logo, because it helped them save money on taxes.
Huh, that sounds weird enough to be true. And you probably got the other one about the secret formula if you watched SpongeBob. And the other one is what's the other one again?
Burping.
Burping.
Yeah,
Burping.
St. John's
yes,
Baptist Church, yeah.
I'm kind of torn between the burping and the taxes. The
Aren't
tax.
you all?
I am too. I am too.
That's what I say every April 14th. I'm torn between the burping and the taxes. It could be is it the burping or the taxes? They're both weird. I mean, the taxes one is so boring and uninteresting. That could be true. Burping or taxes, or it could be the other one. All right, I'll say the taxes.
Is that?
I'll say that it's the taxes one is true.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Well, call the IR. Yes, David Sheward gets it right. That is
Oh, thank God.
That was actually true, because what was happening back in the day is that alcoholic beverages were taxed at a higher rate than non-alcoholic beverage. So they wanted to distinguish when the tax people came around, the excise men, I guess. They say, see these boxes, this stuff is non-alcoholic, and they make red to distinguish it from all these alcoholic products.
It's just loaded with cocaine.
And yeah, there's no alcohol, just the coke and caffeine, no drugs. But here's the deal. This is kind of amazing. Each of these has a little kernel of something in it. So in 2006, 3 employees were actually arrested at Coke for trying to sell documents and secrets to a Pepsi employee.
Oh.
So they weren't trying to break into the vault, but they had all these documents and things that they had access to. And what happened was guess who the Pepsi employee was?
Plankton?
Close enough, a member of the FBI. Pepsi just informed the FBI and they turned it into a sting.
They set up a sting.
Yeah. And here's the amazing thing. Nothing amazing. New Coke did come back, but it was just 2 years ago because of the TV show Stranger Things. Apparently that was a thing. And this is magnificent. And this is why this is my favorite question of the week. No, it was not true that St. John's the Baptist Church in Mexico banned Coca-Cola because kids were coming in to drink it and then annoy everyone with their burping. On the contrary, St. John's Church in Mexico used Coca-Cola in services because, and this is a quote, burping purges evil from the soul.
Oh.
They wanted people to come into church and burp. All I know is if I ever have a synagogue, I'm serving beans. But anywho,
With onions.
So you would serve Coke and beans, basically.
I pretty much would.
Yeah, so
Into
he'd have a cookout with hot dogs, Coke, and beans. That would be the
and
end
that
of it.
way it would come out both ends.
Oh,
And it would be
thank you very
and that would be an outdoor congregation, I hope. So
The
well, it's kind of a half-baked answer, but
the evil would find 2 exit points.
or 4 if anywho, we
Yeah.
have, let's see, go figure. Guess who's leading the game? David Sheward with 4 points, but very, very close behind. And I know, Adam, you have a very close behind with 2
Thank you very
points, and Richard Goldklang with 2 points as well. Our next question, though, in our second round goes directly to Cousin Adam, so you can catch up right here. And if you've ever put ketchup on beans, they taste very good. Here's the deal. Your question, Adam, 1899 was the year. James Rutherford publishes a scientific paper today telling the world that there are 2 kinds of what?
Heck. 2 kinds of. So many choices, most of them wrong.
Actually, all of them wrong except one. If you think.
Yeah, well, yeah. Rutherford Hayes, 2 kinds, except the 2 kinds.
Not Rutherford B. Hayes. James
No,
Rutherford.
I just wrote James Rutherford. Excuse me. 2 kinds. 1899. I haven't a clue. And I'm going to feel deeply embarrassed that I can't think of what this is.
Pick something outrageous. Just pick an outrageous answer.
Well, if I were to use the current thing going on today, I'd say 2 sexes, but I doubt they bothered putting that one in a paper.
I'm gonna need an answer.
I got nothing. I'm sorry. I can't even think of something that could be close to even being logical.
All right. Well, logically, that means you don't get the answer correct, and
That's
I
right.
have to roll the die to give another chance.
I need to know what this is.
This comes out number 5. So Richie Goldklang. I'll read the question again. 1899 was the year. On this date, May 8th, James Rutherford published a scientific paper telling the world that there are 2 kinds of what?
Radiation?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
Well, get yourself a slice of famous Ray's pizza because, yes, he figured out that there were
Wow.
alpha and beta
Very
alpha and beta rays. A few years later, he found gamma rays too, And then in 1947, he found Martha Ray, which is really, really exciting.
Wow.
She couldn't get a guest spot on the Carol Burnett show after that.
Exactly, because it was glowing from. So let me ask you, did you just know that off the top of the name Rutherford, or how did you remember that?
The year, and the name is scientist, and I just kind of took a guess.
Well done.
Very good.
You are now in a tie with David Sheward for first place, with Adam only 2 points behind. But now let's see our sixth question. David gets to build to try and get the lead again. Are you ready, David Sheward?
I'm ready.
Here we go. The year 1937. Born today in Glen Cove, Long Island, and later educated at Cornell, is this novelist whose last 3 books were 2006's Against the Day, 2009's Inherent Vice, and 2013's Bleeding Edge. Name him.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I can read it again if you got frozen. Born today in Glen Cove, Long Island, later educated at Cornell, is this novelist whose last 3 books were 2006's Against the Day, 2009's Inherent Vice, and 2013's Bleeding Edge.
I believe it's Thomas Pynchon.
Is that your final answer, though?
Yes.
Well, pinch on yourself. You're not dreaming. That is absolutely the correct answer. Have you read any of those books?
No, and I tried to read Gravity's Rainbow, and that was impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't get through that. I did read V, and I was like, okay. Well, that was his first big book. I haven't read any of his later. Have any of you guys read Pynchon? You other guy? No.
He's very difficult. I don't know. Inherent Vice was made into a movie, and I think I tried to read it, but it was just too difficult.
I prefer Miami Inherent Vice. That was all right. Yeah. Thank you. Joyce is saying, that was just a crocker. But here we go. Let's get to the. I'm
terrible
sorry about that. We come to the end of round 2 of our Today Yesterday quiz, and at the moment we have the lead with David Sheward with 6 points, Richie Goldklang with 4 points, and my cousin Adam on the board. And remember, in this game, if you're even on the board, you should be proud of yourself and Bell with 2 points. But we have
Mother would be very proud.
It's still everybody's game.
So difficult.
Here we go.
I got the important question. I knew about the dogs. That's all. Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Now, this next question, though, goes back to Richie. So, Richie, you can try and catch up to David, if you get this question right. Are you ready? The enthusiasm, the sheer insouciance of that response. Oh, man. The rabbi was more animated than that yesterday. All right, here we go. The year 1939.
Not by much.
To help stop British oppression. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get through this question. I love this one.
Let's hear it.
The year 1939. This is Richard's question, though. To help stop British oppression in India, Mahatma Gandhi begins a 21-day fast today, basically living on water with a little salt and lemon for 3 weeks. Generally, he had a really healthy lifestyle, eating a lot of fruit and going for long walks, but Gandhi did have some medical problems during his life. Which of these was not an ailment suffered by Gandhiji at some point? A, gastroenteritis, B, hemorrhoids, C, duodenal ulcer, D, dysentery.
Hemorrhoids.
Is that your final answer?
Absolutely.
Well, Gandhi was surrounded by assholes, but his actually had those. So yes, poor Mahatma. This is why he was lying down all the time, because he couldn't. Yeah, he was bedeviled by the roids. So we're having piles of fun here on Dave's Godfly, which means I get to roll.
Now you're giving piles. Okay.
Adam, this is just they just pile up. The jokes.
Oh,
thank you very much. I saw that. All right, go ahead.
Here we go. Adam, I rolled a 3. That means I rolled a 3, which is your number, which means you steal this question. Gandhi, over the course of his life, healthy eater, healthy lifestyle. However, and even fasting a bunch, but he did have medical ailments.
Mhm.
All of these except one. So which did he not have? A, gastroenteritis, C, duodenal ulcer, or D, dysentery?
Uh, hmm. Well, let's see, India. Dysentery? Yeah, kind of goes with territory.
The dysentery. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, he did all those walks. I just, but I would say either or D, either a duodenal ulcer or dysentery. I'm just not sure which. Um, hmm. Let's say dysentery. Probably wrong, but I'll go for dysentery. What the hell?
You'll go for, well, I'll go,
Oh.
all go for dysentery.
That's it. And we won't stop.
Well, Adam, I'm afraid that was a dysenterrible answer because that is not the correct answer to the question. So, David Sheward, you now get to steal this question.
All right.
Which of these did not bedevil Mahatma Gandhi during his life? Was it gastroenteritis or duodenal ulcer?
It could be either one of them. So gastroenteritis.
Mhm.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Gastroenteritis or duodenal ulcers.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I figure I got a 50-50 shot here. And so did Gandhi.
They both sucked, but he's dead. It's okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Ulcers or gastroenteritis. I mean, it could be either. It could be either one. I'm going to say ulcers.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Ulcer, that's my baby, ulcer. Yes, indeed. Well done, David Sheward. That is the correct answer. It occurs to me now, maybe Gandhi wasn't fasting to save India. He just, he just wanted to stop himself from shitting because he had dysentery.
Gastroenteritis.
And hemorrhoids. That's why he was so miserable. He's like, oh, please. He asked the guy to shoot him just to put him out of his misery. He's like, don't shoot me in the head, shoot me in the ass. Take me out that way. Oh, poor guy.
Curry.
They didn't. The Richard Attenborough movie didn't touch on that too much.
Not at all. Like if they had done it right, the costumer would have just had to piles of brown sheets all over the place. It's like, oh, anywho, David, sure, you have 8 points. My goodness, you're running away with a game almost, but I think there's still a possibility that Richard at least can take this. We'll see. The next question though goes to my cousin Adam. Adam, are you ready for our 8th question?
I can't do any worse, so rock on.
You could have done worse. You already have 2 points. But here's the question. It's a multiple choice.
Yes.
This is going to be so much fun. The year 1940.
Could be any more fun than the last question.
Yeah, we're going to some deep, dark places. 1947 was the year.
Yes.
Arrested by Polish communist authorities today is Witold Pilecki. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see the look of recognition.
A cousin, I see. Yes, go ahead.
He is put on a show trial, tortured, executed. He's now considered a hero for fighting both Nazis and communists. In fact, he volunteered to sneak into Auschwitz as a prisoner to smuggle out information for the resistance. Now, speaking of Auschwitz, which of these is not true about this concentration camp? A, 1/6 of all the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B, the IG Farben executive who oversaw the use of Auschwitz prisoners as workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison. C, the youngest woman ever to be executed in British law was an SS guard. Or D, Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
Which is not true?
Which of these is not true? And this question is for Adam, though.
Okay.
1/6. Elie Wiesel's parents.
And please, no giggling.
SS.
Yeah.
SS.
I'll read. You know what? I'll read the main question again. We talked about Auschwitz. Which of these
Yeah,
is not true about Auschwitz? A.
right.
1
out of 6.
of all the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B. The IG Farben executive who oversaw prisoners being workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison.
Mhm.
The youngest woman ever to be executed in British law was an SS guard. Or D. Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
I'm actually going to say C about the British guard, the SS guard, because, well, just because.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my final answer. I may be wrong on that.
Well, Adam, you should be on your guard because that is not
Negative, yeah.
answer. Afraid not. So, we can roll the die.
Interesting. Good to know.
And the guy, notice how the atmosphere is just kind of like Auschwitz question. We come up with a number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So, David, you can kind of put the game away here if you get this correct.
Give me the choices again.
I will. The remaining choices are: one of these is not
6.
true about Auschwitz.
Elie Wiesel.
1/6 of all the Jews who died in the Holocaust died in Auschwitz. B. The IG Farben executive who oversaw the use of prisoners as workers and medical test subjects spent only 7 years in prison. Or D. Elie Wiesel's mother and father were both murdered within days after arriving with him in Auschwitz.
It's D. I'm going to say D. About Elie Wiesel's parents.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, I have to say, Dave, you did Elie Wiesel. That was...
Hey,
I could have come up with a much worse joke. But yeah, no, man, you're getting these questions right as a gas. What made you choose the correct answer? D.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I knew that was the correct answer because as a high school English teacher, Night by Elie Wiesel is a very popular text for the class that I'm teaching.
Right.
And so I have read it dozens of times and taught it. And I know that Elie Wiesel's mother was murdered right away along with his sisters, but his father stayed alive much longer.
Yeah, and the book is about his being beaten to death later on. And
it's because they're staying alive for each other. He would give up if his father hadn't been there, but he said my father would if I died, my father would die, so I'm going to stay alive for him.
Yeah, and I don't know how they adapted that into a musical comedy, but they did. No, just kidding. Just a little FYI stuff. And actually, they Wiesel and his dad, they died at Buchenwald. Well, you knew that. They weren't even in Auschwitz when they.
They're transported to another camp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not transported. They had to run all night. There was no more transport, so the prisoners had to walk the 30 miles to the camp.
I'm sorry, they should have called an Uber. That's just lazy.
And Wiesel his foot was infected, and it was all filled up with pus.
Oh yeah.
So he had to run on a infected
pussy foot. Yeah. I can make a pussy joke, but I'm not going to. But I do want to let you know, by the way, a little more information. After prison, the IG Farben guy, not only did he do only 7 years in prison, but he was elected chairman of the board of Bayer, which was still part of Farben at that point. And Irma.
That one I figured was true.
Yeah.
That one definitely rung true. It just made sense that it would. Yeah.
And the hyena of Auschwitz, or the beast of it, that was Irma Gress or Gries. She was 22 years old when she was executed for being the worst, the most horrible SS person, SS woman. Although they say that what happened was that more women got executed or whatever because people remembered the women more. They were more prominent in their sadism because the woman is doing it. So it was a mix of all that. But anywho, yeah, we're having some laughs here on Dave's Gone By. But David Sheward is certainly laughing. He's got 10 points. Oh my God! But let's do our next question, which goes directly to
David.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can build on your lead. The year 1970
Hmm.
enraged over. I'll bet you Richie could have gotten it. Enraged over Kent State. About
Oh.
800 anti-war demonstrators decided to march on Wall Street, where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers.
Ugh.
The result was what three-word event?
What three-word event?
Yep.
Well, I know that there was a fight and that the construction workers beat up some of the anti-war protesters, and they were invited to the Nixon White House. And Nixon said, "Oh, this is great. You're wonderful people. You're great. You great construction workers." But what was that called? Beat up the hippies day. 3 words.
Which I still celebrate. Yeah.
3 words.
Commies go home. What?
Yeah, okay, maybe that was it. But that's not an event. Let me think. A 3-word event. I don't know. Beat up hippies.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid the question has beaten you this time, David.
Yeah.
Let's roll the die. And let's see what we got here. We get the number 4, which goes. Oh no, you know what? I gotta roll again because it's right in between the 2 others, so it's kind of a moot. I rolled again, so now it's a 6, which is closest to Richard. Richard, no fair googling, no fair looking.
We're not Googling because
I'm just
I could do that, but I wouldn't consider that. That would be terrible.
Oh yeah.
It would. So, 1970 was the year. Enraged over Kent State, 800 anti-war demonstrators marched on Wall Street, where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers. The result was what 3-word event?
I can't even guess.
Hmm.
Let me see. 3 words. No, sorry, I can't put it together.
All right, I'm going to have to take the question away from you.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, Adam Glass, do you want to see if you can put 2 more points on the board by taking a guess?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Is that your final answer?
It is. Well, I watch a dog use the bathroom. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
that's what made you think. Oh, I get it. Serendipitous.
It certainly wasn't, except that is totally not, of course, the right answer.
And did it have Did it have 4 eyelids?
So here's the you're gonna kick yourselves because the big clue is in the question. Okay, I probably should have made it a little clearer. Anti-war demonstrators march on Wall Street where they were met by 400 anti-communist construction workers.
Oh.
Okay.
Construction workers' revenge. I don't know.
It was called
the construction workers, the hard hat something.
riots, the hard hat riots.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
I should have made that a little clearer. I probably could have added a little something to make it a little.
No, that's yeah. All right, I see that.
But
And
anyway,
as I said, they were invited to the Nixon White House, and he
yeah,
said,
that was, everything you said was true. Yeah.
"Congratulations on beating up those long-haired people who don't take a bath."
Yeah. That's me. Well, no, it was a shorter person. But anywho, David Sheward, you have essentially won the game. We don't even have to do the tiebreaker. We're going to do the tiebreaker anyway, since I spent time making the darn question. So, congratulations, first of all, to David Sheward for winning the game. But here we go. Adam, you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, I assume, handy, do you? And Richie, do you?
I do, if you give me a moment.
I will give you a moment. I'll remind everybody, it's almost 11:30, and we're doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream. We're calling this one ABBA. It's our 797th episode of the program. So, yeah, I've been spending most of it just talking about my dad, but we're also having friends in the neighborhood, including Richard Goldklang and my cousin Adam Glass.
I had my copy of the book right here. I did not look at it.
I see that, yeah.
But I had my copy of the book here because, I'm teaching it.
Right, yeah. But it's not even opened.
Yeah.
Is that still in the shrink wrap?
No, it's just
Oh, it's just a really good-looking copy. Yeah, very
well,
nice.
because if you give it to schools, you got to have it like a hardback like this. A paperback is going to disintegrate after a couple of uses.
Did he write? I know he followed it up with day. Did he end up doing like afternoon,
I don't know.
brunch?
I don't think so.
It's like, near midnight. It just kept churning them out. Anywho, are you all ready? What will happen with this final question? We do it a little
Afternoon
bit.
tea.
Yeah. Afternoon tea in Majdanek, right? So here's the deal. We've got one last question, just for fun. Well, they're all really just for fun. But instead of my asking one of you individually, you're all three going to answer, but not by saying it out loud, by writing it down and then holding the piece of paper up to the camera when I count down from 3. This way, nobody gets it first, as it were. We all see who gets the question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
The year is 1920. Born today in the Bronx, this graphic artist began his career designing movie posters and later won an Oscar for his short film, Why Man Creates. But he's best known for his title sequences for films by Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him.
Okay.
Okay. I see some thinking on Adam's part, maybe a blank look on Richie's part, and David going, I got this. I'll read it again. Born today, May 8th, 1920, in the Bronx, this graphic artist began his career designing movie posters and later won an Oscar for his short film, Why Man Creates. But he's best known for his title sequences for films by Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him. I'll give you another moment, and then I'll ask you to write something down. Game is not easy. If I were asked, I'd probably get like 4 points out of all of this if someone were just putting me on a thing. So, all right. Put something down, Adam. And Richie, are you almost ready? Are you ready? Cool. All righty.
This is not the right person, but I'm putting down a name, so I have a name.
So you have a name. That's cool.
So I have a name, and the problem is I know who it is, and I can't think of the name.
That happens too. So here's the deal. And by the way, I'm hosting this program, and it's called Dave's Gone By. So it was put your paper down. I do a 3, 2, 1, Adam. You have to wait. You have to wait for the big reveal. So, born today, graphic artist, started designing movie posters, won an Oscar for Why Man Creates, but then really made his name doing title sequences for Otto Preminger and Alfred Hitchcock. Name him. 3, 2, 1. Hold it up to that camera. And I see good guess from Adam and pull back. Oh my gosh, I don't know who that is, Richie. David Sheward, you get the points.
Mad Magazine, Will Elder.
Who is Will Elder?
Mad Magazine artist.
Oh, no. David Sheward got it right. It is actually Saul Bass. So, and Rich, you should have gotten that because you can play the bass. Okay.
Don't want too many fishy notes.
Oh.
Just for the halibut.
Yeah.
Did he work for Scale?
Oh. If you paid him a fin.
Oh, my operation, Mr. Peabody.
I know, my humor's floundering here. But here's the deal. This has been...
Chum in the waters.
Well, now I'm hooked. But
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Send me back to the kitchen so I can make a Krabby Patty.
Oh, Lordy. Let's see. No, I can't think of a salmon joke. I'm sorry. So here's the deal. David Sheward, as we said, has won the game. The tiebreaker doesn't really count at that point. So he really got 12 points, but he got 10 points with Richard Goldklang with a very respectable 4, and my cousin Adam with somewhat respectable 2. But you all did really, really well. This is a tough game. Congratulations. Thank you for playing the game. So Let me, first of all, I want to talk to you a little bit more, Adam, but I want to say a
Yes.
very kind thank you to, first of all, Richie Goldklang for talking with us on the Dave's Gone By show today and telling us your story and playing the game. Really good sport to do that because people are like, oh, I'll be interviewed, but I'm not
somebody
playing the
said
game.
so much carping.
Oh, who said that?
Jill Schweitzer.
Well, thank you, Jill. Yes, she said. Yeah.
Too much.
Is that another cousin?
No. Now
Jill-
she's forcing me to
Jill-
come up with another pun.
Jill is a very long time friend of mine, and
Oh, there you go. Well, Richie, I know you can tune a guitar, but can you tune a fish?
Oh.
I collect bad puns, and
Getting
that's why I
Mercury
don't.
poisoning
up there.
here.
I know. I'm just going down the wrong pike now. So here's the deal. Thank you, Richie Goldklang. It's so good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
wish
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Wish you no more dental work ever.
No
I mean,
more
do
ever,
you have to go
no.
back and do anything, or are you done? Let's see those teeth. Let's see.
Oh, they switch. No,
Look at them. They're beautiful. They're absolutely marvelous. Yeah.
temporary zirconia in September. I'm serious. These are forgot their name. These are temporary till the zirconia is made, which
Oh.
lasts forever. Like I'm gonna last forever, but
Well, they'll last your forever. For anybody else, it'd be like 20 years. But
yeah,
no,
20,
I'm just
20
saying,
years.
that's the way it is. How I got these choppers in. This is a lot of these are fake and frontal, etc. And when he gave them to me, it's like, well, yeah, they'll last 15, 20 years. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm due. I'm going to be on air one morning a year or two or three from now, and I'll be like, "Hello, everybody," half of my mouth falling out. So you got them done. You're good to go. Good luck with the hemorrhoids. Good luck with the dysentery. Good luck with the gastroenteritis.
gastroenteritis.
Not the ulcer.
Not the ulcer. No, not certainly the ulcer.
No.
Let me thank also David Sheward for every week coming with us, playing the game, almost winning the game almost every week. Read him in culturalweekly.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog, The David Desk. Did you write about anything this particular week?
Well, I just put out another, I'm doing a series of blogs on the Carol Burnett Show because it's scattered all over the internet, and the reruns that you see are chopped up segments of the show. So there are pieces of it missing. So I'm trying to piece together what the show was. So
Oh, Kenny Sams.
I know who he is. I know that he wrote for the show, and he had a play off Broadway a while ago, and he wrote for all kinds of comedy shows.
Do you know him, Richie? I mean, you bring that up.
Yeah, a long time ago. It's a joke. It has to do with summer camp for like 8 years.
Oh,
Or
Yeah.
Somser Camp.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Well,
he wrote for
Sure.
Broadway.
Mother's
He's a very
Brothers.
prominent comedy writer.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did that. Okay, cool. And did you write any reviews?
Not well. I haven't. I'm when things begin. I haven't gotten any reviews. Like I did do my Oscar predictions just before the Oscars. There's not too much. There are some Zoom things. I'll have to see if I can review them. But we are expected to get live performances back in September. We'll see what
Well,
happens.
public performances. That is true. Yeah.
We know what's ironic is that the very last show I saw before the close down was this musical called Six, which was a rock musical about the six wives of Henry VIII, and it was supposed to open the night that everything closed down.
Right.
So now that show is supposed to be could be the first new show to start performances again in October. So they'll probably ask us to come back to it since it's been a year and a half. So that
That's
will
ironic. That's actually sounds pretty deliberate. That sounds kind of like, let's do this. It's a nice closure sort of a thing.
that will be the first new show to come back.
Cool. Well, I hope you will come back, David Sheward, next week, and maybe Leslie will be with us to play the Today Yesterday trivia game. Love to see you, and give somebody else a chance to win. Come on. And Richie, thank you so much. I'm going to remove both of you so I can talk a little bit more with my cousin Adam about my dad. So thanks for joining us on Dave's Gone By.
Good night.
thank you for having me.